Hey, everybody. It's your boy, Sean McLaughlin. It's the jam session for October 17th, 2024. Today's Thursday. Hope you're doing well. Boy, the bull market is back, right? You would think. You look at the indexes, you see them breaking out. You see stocks like Nvidia back near all-time highs. You would think the bull market is back and it's beautiful, right? Well, our portfolio is, I feel you might disagree, but I feel we're a little bit underperforming. We've got some good positions that are doing well, which we'll talk about. But yeah, it's been a bit of a mixed bag. We've had some positions that aren't necessarily not working. They're just not doing what I would think that they would do in a market like this. Maybe that's information, something to think about. But hey, before we get into any charts, let's drop the old disclaimer, of course. Everything we discuss here is for educational purposes only. I'm showing you what I'm doing with my money, and I hope that you are learning something from following along. All right, so let's get into the charts here. By the way, guys, if you're watching this on YouTube and it's live, throw a question in the chat there. I'll attempt to answer it if it's relevant to what we're doing, if I see it. So anything we talk about, yeah, throw a question in and we'll get after it. So here's the S&P right now. As you can see, we are back at new all-time highs. The bull market is continuing. We had a little bit of a blip a couple of weeks ago. No big deal, really. But the move is unabated to the upside. Let's bring up the NASDAQ. Still a little bit off the high, still has some work to do, but I mean, this is some pretty constructive action here. Is it only just a matter of days before the NASDAQ breaks out and sends this bull market into overdrive? Who knows? We shall see. Let's also bring up a look at the VIX. VIX still stubbornly hanging around the 20 level. It's down a bit today, down in the low 19s. So maybe this little island of volatility above 20 is about to come to an end for good, at least for the next few weeks or months. We'll see. I don't know. I don't have that crystal ball. I wish I did. But all signs right now pointing to an ease back of the volatility. Whatever had everybody spooked, whether it was earnings season, whether it was wars, whether it's the election, I don't know. But maybe there seems to be a little bit less uncertainty in the market now that's coming out of the market. So we'll see. We'll see. All right, so this is the All-Star Options Jam session. So those of you who've been here before, you know that what we do is we like to review some positions that we've exited, whether for a profit or for a loss, any adjustments we've made to existing positions. So we've got a couple of those to talk about. We also review, we update stops on existing positions that need stops updated. I like to trail stops on positions that are working and to limit my risk and preserve my capital. And we'll touch on some new trades that we've put on since we last spoke. But you know what? Before we even get into trades that we've exited, I want to talk about a trade that we're still currently in. And this is Canadian Imperial Bank of Commerce, or CIBC for those who know. I wrote about this early last week, I believe, in my daily email. If you guys don't get it, shoot me a note, shoot me an email, and I'll get you on the list. But right here, I mean, the timing couldn't have been more perfect. I mean, in hindsight is 2020. But on October 10th, right here, this red candle at the bottom of this pullback, I addressed concerns that some of you had that were discussed in my chat room, privately with email with me, customers of All Star Options who are riding this position with me. And there were a few people who were very concerned about this pullback. And they were saying, hey, I think maybe we should take some profits here. I think this trend is over. This feels like, an exhaustion, move right here. And now we're giving it all back. The move is over. The trend is dead. I was hearing all of these things from people. And I'm not going to sit here and tell anybody that they're wrong, and they might not have been wrong. But what I wanted to bring to everyone's attention when we got to this point here, when we were in this little downturn, is no trend goes straight in our direction forever, right? There's going to be hiccups. There's going to be pullbacks. There's going to be consolidations. And this trade, I mean, boy, did we time this thing great. I mean, we didn't get the bottom of this reaction, of course, but I mean, we got into this trade, I believe, on August 9th, and it did basically nothing but go straight up for us for, I don't know, 6 weeks, 5 weeks. I mean, what an unbelievable run for a bank, right? To go from 51 up to 62 with nary a pullback whatsoever. And so when we finally got that pullback, is that a reason to panic? No, not at all. Nobody likes to give back open profits. Okay, I don't like to give back open profits. But this trade has one thing going for it that I've been harping on in different ways over the past few months. But one thing I've been talking about is that all of my biggest winners, not all of them, not 100%, but the majority of my biggest winners, when I look back at all my biggest winners over the last, several years, or at least we've been doing all-star options for 7 years now. And when I look back at all the biggest wins that we've had, almost entirely true across the board, those trades were trades that began working right away. Not always, but most of the time, greater than 80% of the time, I would argue, the biggest winners were the ones that started working right away. And this trade here absolutely meets that criteria of working right away. Now, this doesn't mean that this trade is going to be my biggest winner. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that this thing's going to double in price from here. Okay. This thing could very easily roll over and stop us out for a small gain, maybe even a loss. I doubt it. I mean, we got some good embedded profits in here now. But it may roll over on us and stop us out. And the win that we earn might not be as, as nice as we wanted it to be. That absolutely can happen. But that doesn't change the fact that all of my biggest wins, the majority of my biggest wins, are trades that started working right away. And this one, I mean, you cannot argue that this one did not start working right away. We had 6 weeks, nearly 6 weeks of just basically straight up. I mean, as far as a swing trader is concerned, this is what a swing trader calls straight up. And that's what we are. Okay. So we're still in CM. Is it going to go higher? I don't know. If it gets up to 67, you see this level up here. This is a stock. If we get there, I'm going to take some profits. I'm going to sell half of my position and book some very handsome profits at that point. And I'm going to hold the rest, or at least I'm going to hope to hold the rest into December. We only have about, 6 weeks until expiration. So we might not have much further to go from there. But if it gets to 67, I will take half of my position off and book some really nice gains, lock in some gains, and then free ride on the rest. But guys, just let this be a lesson. To me, I mean, I'm using this as a lesson, right? I too, when this thing was pulling back, I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say I wasn't concerned about it. I was like, oh no, this thing's run out of steam. I agreed with everybody in my chat room, right? I was like, oh, it feels like it might be running out of steam. But we have to give trades like this the benefit of the doubt. We have to give them room to work because you never know. This could be the trade that makes our year. Could be. I'm not saying it's going to be. It could be. And now that we're back making new highs again, I'm raising my stop back below the low that was etched out early last week. All right. That seems like a very significant level now. And we got the 50-period moving average moving up to meet it right around there pretty soon. So 59 is my new stop in CM. All right, enough of that. I hope you guys learned something there. I hope that was beneficial to you. It's beneficial to me. I mean, look, the act of just like going through this with you guys helps me too, right? It hammers home best practices that I need to remind myself of every time. I'm not perfect. I've been trading for 26 years and I make all the same dumb mistakes that you do time and time again, I promise. But I hope I get a little bit better each time and learn a little bit new lesson every time. All right, let me get off my soapbox. Let's talk about the positions we've exited. We only exited 2 positions in this past week. Uber was one of them. This was a bullish call calendar spread. We got into this back on, I believe, September 20th. We got into, we bought the March 80 calls, but we sold the October 80 calls against it. And the plan was with a calendar spread, if the stock trades to and through our strikes, which in this case was $80, then we have to take the trade off if we're still holding the short options, because once you get with a calendar spread, once you get above your short strike, or once you get above your strikes, your potential profits actually decline. And in fact, if the stock keeps going even further, yeah, you might actually turn a winner into a loser. We don't want to do that. So above 80, the rule was to get out, and we had an earnings gap here on the 11th. Stock went our way. That's great. I got out of this position for 735. I closed the entire thing. We bought it for 550, got out for 735. Nice profit, not complaining. Not the profit I was hoping for, of course. But hey, maybe in hindsight, it was good. I mean, I was feeling, a little bummed this thing was ripping when I got out on the 10th, but look at this, man. We've given it all back and then some coming into this gap. So maybe it was a blessing that we got out of this trade. Maybe it's not going to work after all. But either way, we made money here. So first class problem nonetheless. So we're out of Uber. Next trade is IBN. This one's not as great of a story. The Icky Icky, I was calling this. This is a Indian bank. We were long the March 34 calls we paid 60 cents for. And this one, I mean, boy, it was making us think that this too might be one of our big winners. I mean, this thing just rocketed higher for 4 straight days. Looked like we were off to the races, but the market had other ideas. We've given back all of that breakout and more. 29 was our stop loss level. Additionally, we wanted to close the spread out or close the options out if I lost half of my value. So this actually met both criteria, right? We were below 29 and the options were trading for 30 cents. So I closed it down. Hey, I was willing to lose 60 cents on the trade. I was willing to lose every bit of my investment. So the fact that I got out for 30 cents, we'll call it a small victory. But yes, it is a loss. We lost money. That's true. All right, let's talk about some updated stops. We don't have too many to talk about when we've already covered CM. All right, so we've updated our stop to 59, so we don't need to rehash that one. In no particular order here. Let's talk about Sansara, ticker IOT. We're long January 60 calls. We got in mid-September. We're moving our stop up to 45. This was the reaction pullback after we got in, and it held and stuck the landing and went on to make new highs. So we're going to use that 45 level as our stop. Oh, sorry, Gene, you like it when I zoom in. Let's zoom in a little bit. 45 is the stop. You see the rising 50-period moving average is moving up there as well. So that's nice. When both things are there, when both lines confirm the new stop level, I like that. So IOTA 45 is a new, I'm sorry, not IOTA, Samsara, ticker IOT. New stop is at 45. Okay, next up, ExxonMobil. We are long a protected risk reversal in March options, meaning we sold a put spread, which is defined risk, and we use those proceeds to buy a call spread, which has limited upside, right? That's okay. It's okay. We did the whole thing for a 50-cent net credit. Well, so far the trade is not working for us. Let's zoom in here. I'm raising my stop to 118, which is just above this rising 50-period moving average. If ExxonMobil gets below 118, I no longer like this trade. It's back in the muck. And so we will pull the plug on this. And hey, the good news is, because this is a protected risk reversal, because we sold a put spread to pay for the call spread, there is a chance, I'm not saying it's going to happen, I'm not saying it's a certainty, but there's a chance that, let's say ExxonMobil trades down to 117.50, and that's when we pull the trigger and get out of the trade, right? Because it's below 118. A closing price below 118 is what gets me out. So if the next day stock's trading at 17.50 or 17, and that's when I exit the trade, there's a chance I still might exit this whole campaign with a profit. Why? Because I collected 50 cents on the day I got in, right? So I'm already cash flow positive, let's say, in this trade. Well, I don't know what that put spread is going to cost to cover it, but there's a chance that I could cover that put spread and sell that call spread for close to a wash, close to a scratch, maybe a small debit, maybe 25 cents. Hey, I'm still a winner because I collected 50 cents on day one. So I'm not saying that's going to happen. And it depends on when that happens, right? The closer we are to expiration, usually the better the odds of that being the case. But something to think about. A losing trade, or at least a trade that didn't go the way we wanted it to, we could still potentially profit. So that's nice. All right, last up, Zillow, ticker Z. We're long a November-May call calendar spread. So we're long the May calls and we're short the November calls. Why don't I have the strikes in here? 70 strikes. I should update this here. I'll do that right now. I'll do this live. Nope. Yeah. Long November 70 call spread. There we go. Okay. So we're short the November 70 calls and we're long the May 70 calls. We paid 475 for it or late last week. But so far it's going our way. It's a little rocky today, but I feel like the stock is kind of sticking the bottom a little bit. And I'm raising my stop here to 59. 59 is the new stop. What was the 10th? That was Thursday last week? Okay. Yeah, so this might have been even be a new trade for you guys. But either way, we've moved our stop up to 59, which corresponds with this low, which is soon after we got in, zoom in, and also with the rising 50-period moving average. I like that. All right, so those are the updated stops, not too many. And then finally, we'll go over well, sometimes my watch list does this here. I don't know why this happens. We're going to open up my new trades. We've got 4 new trades. Now, for those of you, again, for those of you new here, all these trades that we put on that we're talking about here, I publish a blog post at allstarcharts.com that details the entire trade. It details the setup, why we like it, what we like about the setup, what option strategy we're going to use to express our bet, how we're going to manage risk, where we may stop out, where we may protect capital, right? Also, where we may make adjustments in the future or maybe take some profits. All of those details are laid out in the blog post. We publish them at allstarcharts.com in the members section. If you don't have access to that, hit us up, send us an email, info@allstarcharts.com, and we will get you hooked up. Love to have you. We have a live chat community here. Great group of people in here. We're talking, we're sharing ideas every day. Love to have you in the group. So I'm not going to get into the full details of every trade here, but I will touch on them a little bit. Oracle, this is a new trade we got into earlier this week. We are long. Okay. So we're long here. I think we got in on the 14th. That's Monday. Home Depot is another trade that we got into just recently. We're long Home Depot. We like this. We're bullish. US Bank Corp. We got in right here on the 15th. We bought what's nice here so far is that we kind of got in during the stock traded, it opened here, traded up higher. There was a little pullback all the way down. We entered into this pullback, and boy, are we looking like geniuses temporarily for the moment. The market, this is a trade that we're going to be in for a little while here. There's a long way to go, but I got like the way it started out. And lastly, CCJ got into this trade yesterday. This is a uranium play, a nuclear energy play, a picks and shovels play for the AI world. We like what's going on here in this space, and CCJ Cameco Corp is one of those names that we think could benefit over the long run. We put a longer term trade on than we usually do. Again, all the details are available at allstarcharts.com. All right, everybody, let me pull, if I could get this thing going here. My menu got in the way. Let's pull up the updated stops for those of you who like this. Oh, let me go back. Ooh, man, having all kinds of keyboard problems. Here's the updated stops. If you guys want to take a screenshot, if you haven't already, for those of you who are riding these positions as well. These are the stops I'm using. Maybe these aren't the stops you want, but these are the stops I'm using. So keep these in mind. And lastly, I touched on it a minute ago, but if you have any questions at all about what we do here at All Star Options, if you have questions about the trades, if you want to get involved in All Star Options, shoot us an email, info@allstarcharts.com. We'll get you hooked up. And here's the link here. I actually put it in the chat. Oh, I thought I put it in the chat. Where'd it go? Oh, I did not. You know what? I can do this right now. I'm going to put this in the chat. ASO. There you go. You can find the link in the chat. If you want to get All Star Options, go to that link. And lastly, the charts I've been sharing here, guys, my friends at trendspider.com hooked me up with this charting platform. It's a wonderful platform. I love it. Does everything I needed to do so I can follow the trades that I'm in. If you want to get involved at trendspider.com, they're offering a promo code for every one of you who uses Sean50. Promo code Sean50 will get you 50% off a subscription plan at trendspider.com. If you do it, tell them Sean sent you. All right, that's all I got for you, everybody. Have a great rest of your week. I'll be attending Stocktoberfest with JC and Straza in Coronado Island starting Sunday this weekend. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Straza and I will be out there, and JC. So we may be a little bit limited on Stock Market TV next week, but for those of you who are attending Stocktoberfest, looking forward to hanging out with you. Come say hi if we've never met. We'd love to meet you. So, hey, have a great weekend. We'll be back at some point next week. We'll have great content for you, no doubt about it. Until then, see you.